Cleveland, Tennessee. Doors open at 6 a.m. each day. First come, first serve.
One of the things I love so about coming to work every day is knowing that when I get in my car to go back home, I will have learned a thing or two, and boy, am I learning this morning. It's kind of over my head, but I'm grateful for the education nonetheless. So happy this morning to have Aaron Frankhauser on the show. He is with Wacker Chemical Corporation, Charleston. The campus there in Charleston is your home away from home while you're at work. So you said first and foremost you want to teach us how to pronounce it. It's Wacker.
Yeah, so it's spelled Wacker, and people pronounce it that way, but it's the W is the V sound like the German,
German
spelling,
company.
so it is Wacker.
You've been with them for 12 years?
Going on my 12th year, yes.
So when did they, because I can't quite remember when they came to the area.
So 2011-ish is when they broke ground.
And so you were there almost from the beginning.
I was there from the beginning. I was one of the first 52 hired, and I was hired in as a chemical operator, and I actually had no experience as a chemical operator, but prior military, and they hired very heavily with veterans, and they still have a big push for hiring veterans.
Really?
So that was a draw for me.
Is that a patriotic loyalty, or is there something?
I think it's just a culture thing within Wacker that
Nice.
they recognize their veterans, and they'll do a big thing Friday and church for everybody, and it's just something since the beginning. They hired a lot of veterans, I think probably 30% of the initial people, and they still do that to this day.
So I think it's important, I think there's almost a cultural longing now for us to know who we're consumers of. People want to know when they're shopping at a small business, who is the owner and what do you support and that kind of thing. So what I'm finding out from you today is that you look around your house, perhaps the phone you're holding in your hand right now, Wacker may very well be a part of it, and we wouldn't know it because you're kind of the middle supplier, if you will. Is that right?
So what we do is mostly intermediate chemicals. So we make that thing that goes into your final product. So for the polysilicon side, which a lot of people think, when I talk to people, where do you work? Well, I work at Wacker. They think we make solar panels, which we don't make solar panels. However, we make the raw material that goes into solar panels.
What is that? What is the raw material that goes into a solar panel?
So it's, man, sorry.
Was that in over your head too?
No, it's definitely not. Polysilicon
Okay.
is what goes into it's the intermediate material that goes into it.
So I'm really getting in the weeds here, but it's interesting to me. So you make this polysilicate.
So we basically take a rock and we crush it down through chemical processes. We turn it into a very, very pure, ultra pure rock. And that is what goes into the chip manufacture. We also are heavily involved in microchip manufacturing, or that intermediate product that they use. So 1 in 4 cell phones probably has Wacker polysilicon in it.
So let's go back to the solar panel for just a second. And you don't have to know all of these answers, but it's interesting to me the layer upon layer upon layer that's involved in producing a product. And so you tend to think that the product is just the solar panel, but there are many, many businesses involved in bringing that to the market. Am I right?
Absolutely.
So y'all are just one component of many.
Yeah. And for most of our products, it's that way. So now I'm actually in the HDK, the silicones division, and it's a really lightweight powder substance, and it's in everything that you use daily. It's in toothpaste to make the grit in the toothpaste to clean your teeth better. When you put paint on a wall, HDK's in that makes it not run. We're heavily in the caulking industry, so if you go to your local hardware store and buy a GE caulking, that's a heavily HDK product in it. So
I'm sure that it would be a logical thing for people to hear you and think, okay, but that's a lot of exporting, if you will, of chemicals. But on your campus in Charleston, it's all of this self-contained acreage up there where you're very environmentally conscious.
We are, absolutely. And we pride ourselves, especially some of our bigger plants, which we have the footprint to be that biggest plant. Like in Germany. So like I said, I'm in HDK now. So we take a side stream from the poly industry that would normally be a waste, and now we turn it into a very usable, sellable product.
So recycling in a way.
We self-recycle within ourselves. So in making that, we take a byproduct from poly, we turn it into a very usable product for our consumers, and then we send back to the poly side HCl, which then they reuse again. So it's very integrated within Wacker, and we're about to expand actually. So our biggest customer in the U.S. for HDK is ourselves, and they're out of Michigan and Adrian. And so we do rubbers and stuff like that up there. So we're about to expand and do a lot of that stuff here in Charleston.
I'm processing a lot because, I mean, really, this is all new to me. But is there a division within Wacker that is also innovative? I mean, are there scientists or engineers or whatever creating new products?
All the time. We have a new place in Ann Arbor that has a lot of R&D stuff going on up there. So we're always trying to create better solutions for our customers. So whether it be a different recipe for what I make, that maybe it mixes better now with this product, and it makes their product stronger or makes their product not run. So yeah, we're always innovating.
So where you're not selling directly to the consumer, like if you have the idea for the paint that doesn't run,
right,
you can't create the paint, but you can then go to Sherwin-Williams or whomever and say, hey, let's partner on this because I think this could improve it.
Correct.
Is that the right idea?
That's right, yeah.
So when you started there 12 years ago, having no background as a chemical
operator is what I hired in as, yeah.
Did you know any of this?
I did not. I also thought the same thing that everybody thinks still sometimes today. They make solar panels. So I was going to Cleveland State at the time and working full time, and my person at school said, hey, this company's about to build here and you should come check them out. They're going to come talk. And I put in and got hired. So the original group went to Chattanooga State, which we have a Wacker Institute there still today.
That,
right?
Yeah.
So I was that first group that kind of went through that. And then we went to Berghausen, Germany, and I worked there for 6 months, kind of job shadowing.
Yeah.
And originally I was in the infrastructure department, which is over kind of wastewater, all the utilities, all the stuff that kind of makes the plant work. And then came back, the plant was still under construction, and commissioned the poly plant, and then was promoted to a supervisor in infrastructure. And then when they decided to build this new expansion, I was hired as the operations manager for it.
So before I let you run, you mentioned going to Cleveland State and then sometime at Chattanooga State, I guess, but those are typically 2-year type of programs.
Correct.
So can you, I know you're not hiring, not here to promote hiring, but there are people looking for new careers and kids graduating high school. You don't have to have a 4-year degree to do this?
You don't. So there's multiple layers you can come in. So what I have in my department is known as a technical operator, and it does not require a degree of any kind. And you can come in, we typically look for people with some manufacturing experience, but it's not necessarily, it doesn't have to be. There's some other avenues. We still do have the Chattanooga State program, the Wacker Institute there, that is a 2-year degree, and you can come in as a chemical operator.
Okay.
But if you come in as a TO, there's a lot of avenues for advancement. So after being there a year, we pay for school, and you can go through a program called the ChemOp program, which is a higher paying job. And you go through 5 different classes throughout about a year and a half, I think, and then you can be promoted to a chemical operator.
Well, thank you for the lesson this morning, and I'm so glad to know about their support of veterans. That was perfect timing on the heels of Veterans Day, and we now know to save Wacker. And when we brush our teeth and log on to our cell phones, there's a good chance you're part of our lives.
Another thing that we're really in right now with is the new Pie Center in Cleveland that just opened up. So we're going to be heavily involved in that and helping out with that. We also just donated $1 million to the Pie Center.
Congratulations.
So that'll be another avenue where I think we can bring people in from the high schools directly into our workforce.
Yeah, that's a neat place up there. That
yeah,
Pie
it's
Center.
very nice.
All right, Aaron, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
You can find them on social media, Wacker.com. Follow them on LinkedIn. What a great way, too, to let them see your resume, all types of things. Thank you again.
Thanks.
Spicy buns, spicy sauce, spicy seasoning, spicy jalapenos, ooh, spicy fries. Boy, Arby's getting loose with the spice on the new Diablo sandwiches and fries. Arby's, we have the meats.
WG gave me peace of mind and $1 million.
WG got me lost wages and $700,000.
WG got me back to a new car and $1.3 million.
WG got my medical bills paid.
WG got me justice.
WG got me my life back and $250,000.
I'm W.
I'm G.
If you're hurt, call us 265-HURT.
That's 265-4878. We are your local law firm.